Yo, people don't know the thing about this podcast, and I will not take back no chat. This week, we have our next guest again, and know the thing go.
What's up, people? Welcome to the Yaad&Abroad podcast, the baddest podcast in the world.
I will not take back no chat. Today, people. Yeah, people, today. We have guests in the house. And we are talking about track athlete. You know, say Olympics just gone a while ago. So you know we have to dig in at the, you know what I mean?
I get it for find one of my closest, somebody who I support, one of my biggest athlete. Cool, man. You know, I get nervous when I bring on my people. I'm excited enough. Yeah, so we are going to introduce our guests today, and then we are going to check in and see how everybody are doing before we're going to the podcast. Our son.
Yeah, that's so like it. That's so like it. You know, the people that want to know who is this athlete that we have on the podcast.
So my friend, Zayn, she called me 6. I mean, I'm 6'1", but she called me 6. I'm going to call her midget. But this is Natasha Danvers, Olympian, motivational speaker, awesome fitness trainer, artist. Me have some are painting, author.
Mm-hmm.
I never know. Me have pull out that. Pull out that. Comedian, singer, just about all round talented, positive. Just all right, mama, calm down. Unicorn, like Tasha Danvers, welcome.
What's up, people? How you doing? I am so glad to be in the house with 3 very, very handsome men, I must say. It's a great place to be.
You're making me blush right now. Thank you very much.
I feel like I'm in a good place right now. I'm sure it's the envy of many women out there.
Yes, it is. It definitely is.
And
you don't know from me,
I hear the accent, right? You know where she come from, right?
Not a normal place.
Yes.
Yes.
UK.
Yes.
All the way from London, England. But if you want me to be from Los Angeles, I totally can do that. It's so, easy to just switch around. Or if you want me to be from Africa, I can do that too.
Oh my God.
But naturally, I'm from London.
Okay.
I should not even the Jamaican accent in.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do that in Jamaican company. Come on, you lot would laugh me out the room. Like, what is that? I can do it around my friends because they're like, oh my gosh.
No, actually, Jamaican accent pretty good.
If I go here, they're like, so which part of England you're from? I'm like, oh, okay. The disguise didn't work then.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all the man them stay.
Good enough. We're good, man. We're good, my dear.
Family good?
Yeah, family good, everything.
Okay,
You get me? I say, we're there. We're there for the interview. We're there and ready up for this podcast in our world, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Everett, how you stay?
Sure.
Likewise,
everything all right. It gets sad now. Summer dry now, but it wasn't really much of a summer. But I mean, still a little bit of good weather left. But we're in August. September, heat or miss, but pretty much out of September, look towards the winter. But as I said, for right now, everything all right. We're going to enjoy what's left. And happy another Monday to drop the gems. And also, feeling extra because
with that lady, I better have a notebook because she got
we have everything. So, should be a good one. Oh, you stay? Or you stay?
Yeah, I'm good and I'm excited. Not even reach out to Tasha and tell her this, but say some things are going on, some positive things are going on for me. I have to go all the meds after the year and share what I go on before I drop it on the podcast. But things good. Things really good. Like really good. Almost as good as Tasha look. Tasha look good.
That look really good still.
Yeah, it's really good. Life is really good.
How you know? How you know how good I look? What about from the waist, from the chest?
No, man.
You'll be all right.
Stay fit, man. Just stay fit. Yeah. So, So Tasha, how have you been? What's going on with you? How are you today?
You know, I've been excellent, but you know me, I'm always looking like, because you know, I went through that stage where I was depressed and down and all that. You know, you and I talked during that phase. So since then, I had to learn how to like recognize that and never allow myself to go down that road again. So I'm always good because I purposely stay good. Like it's intentional.
And we are gonna talk about that. We are gonna talk about that.
You know, so I'm good. Things are good. You know, that don't mean like I'm not a normal human being, that I have bad days or, you know, I get upset or like I'm not a robot, but at the same time, overall, it's good.
Things are
sweet.
All right, cool. So we're gonna go from your little pitney, like tell me your background, where your Jamaican heritage come from, and just start from down this, mommy and daddy and all of them things.
Right. So both of my parents are both from St. Catherine, which is really odd. And my dad's always reminding me that he's from Ginger Ridge, because that's where Asafapal is from. Like, you know, I'm from Ginger Ridge. Like, yes, Dad, for the 1000th time, you're from Ginger Ridge.
Right.
So my dad's from there. And you know, funnily enough, even though they're both from St. Catherine and, you know, Jamaica's not the biggest place on the planet, they didn't know each other at all before meeting in England.
Okay.
And in the 60s. And my parents were both athletes, and that's how they ended up meeting. So about 15 years old, they're both, you know, going to their different sports clubs, and they cross paths, and here I am, baby. 1, 2, 1, 2.
It was destined to be an athlete then, man.
Yeah.
Say that again.
It was destined for you to be an athlete.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like, because my dad, he was a hurdler. So he did the sprint hurdles until he was about 15 years old. You know, back then, sports as a career for a young Jamaican boy in England is not really a thing. That's like almost like a job. Like, what are you talking about? Go and get a job, go and work. My grandmother wasn't, it was that era, you know, we're not too many generations down at that point from slavery. So there was a lot of, you know, strife still at that time. So, you know, this was one of the first generations. My grandma was like one of the first generations that are coming to England thinking that the roads are paved with milk and honey and they're going to get jobs and they're going to have money sent back and all of that stuff. And that's not what it was. So now they start sending for their kids, because obviously their kids can't stay in Jamaica forever with the grandparents. Yeah. The grandparents are going to start getting older and too old to care for all these young kids. They start sending all the kids to England, and obviously it's getting more and more difficult because they have more and more kids, and all this work that they're supposedly going to make lots of money isn't really there. It's a farce. So, you know, she wasn't the most nurturing of grandmothers. Like, I think I met her once in my life, I met her more. I met my other grandmother once or twice. But she wasn't like the most like, oh, come and sit on grandma's knee and just rest. Nah, that wasn't. She's in the bed. At most, you might get pass me the remote. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Typical Jamaican grandmother still. That's
yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I'm very proud of that. Like, you know, I will go through the media zone after when I was still running. I'll go through the media zone. I'm like, okay, there's the Jamaican media. Let me just hi.
Yeah, make sure them. Yeah.
Because when I got my medal, they were claiming, yes, by the way, did you know that Tasha Danvers from the British team is also Jamaican? I'm like, thank you. I'm glad you noticed. So
we are gonna get to that. Yeah, man. So Tasha, coming up, what was one of the experience was stand out growing up with Jamaican parents in like one of them story they were? I know you have a whole heap and well, you know, one of them story that was stand out to you.
You know, it's a different situation with like how you're raised when you're raised by a Jamaican parent. Like when you know, like I'm in school and I'm talking about report cards and this kind of thing. And the white kids are like, oh yeah, you know, I changed my F to a B, and I told my mum, yeah, I got all B's, and she found out, and she was like, don't do that again, Sally. And I was like, don't do that again, Sally. What?
Don't do that again.
I mean, you can't go to school for a couple of days because you get knocked out.
Exactly. Like I did not understand that life. And like you go to your friend's house and again, a white family, and they're like, oh, do you guys want to go into the living room for a minute while I clean Sally's room? Clean Sally's room? What? She's 12 years old. You're cleaning her. What? Listen, mate. We were cleaning our rooms from 5 years old.
Exactly. Iron your own clothes, wash your own clothes. Exactly. And them time they had
maybe even earlier. Oh my God.
And
so
them time they had a machine they have put. Well, me never have no washing machine. You have to wash with your hand. Scoop. If you don't know for scoop, you can't wash.
Listen, you know how Jamaican parents get down, and my mom she was probably a little bit less strict than the average Jamaican parent, just for the simple fact that she came up hard. Like her mom was abusive, let's just call it what it was. Her mother was abusive, so she ended up in foster care by the time she was 14 years old. So hers was slightly different. She still obviously got raised by her grandma when she was still in Jamaica up till 10 years old, but the last 4 years before she left home and went into care, was her mother was like rough. So she never wanted to be that rough with me. But there was I remember going into a store, and I know we've all had this with our Jamaican parents, and I was like bawling about, I want this tape, I want storyteller tape. Like I was just going mad. My mom was all poised in the store. Yes, thank you. Oh, yes, I'll take 2 of those. Thank you. And oh, yes, if you could just get me that thing off the shelf. Thank you. Get home. When I tell you, you can't come.
Yeah.
So
so my oldest, so Naita, when she did younger, we in at the store and I say, I lick up it near a cup. I'm look at her and she's like, Dad, why are you looking at me? I say, yo, but just want to rub you out for what Ima do.
Yeah.
Think of to do that.
Yeah. Exactly.
I say my point exactly. So I get it.
No, I was too scared. I think that it really made me stay. I mean, part of it was my personality. I was super, super shy anyway when up till about age 14. You wouldn't believe it now. I mean, I would be like this in like behind the scenes, but like I wouldn't outside, with if I'm outdoors, I would keep all my personality to myself. But I was afraid, man. I remember in science class, I turned on the Bunsen. You remember we used to have those little Bunsen burners, yeah? Mm-hmm. So I turned
them young boy, then I know that.
Yeah, that's like, they still make that? Like, no, right. Back in the day, I'm 43 now, so back in the day, they used to have this little Bunsen burner. It would turn on a flame, and you weren't allowed to turn them on unless you were the teacher said it was okay. So me and so, I don't know who convinced me to turn on the young Bunsen burner, but I turned it on, and Miss Patel, the Indian teacher, said, "What are you doing? I told you not to turn it. That is it. Detention for you. Detention. That is it. I'm tired of this." So she just sent me. Oh my God, Nikki, I was so scared. Like, you have detention and your parents are Jamaican. Just kill me. Just
kill me. Like, why?
Just kill me, please.
Why you send me home? Just kill me.
Just murder me now. Like, just end it now. Like, I don't want to drag this out. Just finish it. So,
embarrass me at school.
Yeah. Like, Jamaicans are the only parents who beat you for getting beaten.
Yeah.
And then beat you until you stop ball. Then I give you something for ball.
Yeah, ball for. Me give you something for ball.
Let me give you something for ball for.
Oh, the signature phrase. The signature phrase. What are you crying for? You want me to give you something to? Oh my gosh! If we haven't all heard that one, but yeah, it's a whole different thing. Discipline is not a question. There is discipline, and that's the end of it.
So Tasha,
go ahead.
What age? Cause we jump from yesterday ago. We up here so quick and fast. What age you moved to England? Cause you say
Yes, no, I was born and raised in the UK. So my parents moved
Oh,
to,
okay,
yeah,
okay, okay.
Yeah.
my parents moved to Jamaica from St. Catherine, both at 10 years old. And I was born there because they, you know, they met at 16, they got married at 18, they had me at 26, 24, got divorced at 26. So I don't know if I was the cause of that because 2 years after them having me, them done.
Yeah,
Right,
right.
Hey, we already create magic. It's over.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right.
So
we are
yeah,
tied
I would,
together from this day on forward. So hey, we don't have
yeah.
to be together, but we will be together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, I, you know, born and raised there. I came to the US in 1996 when I was 18. And it wasn't until actually after that that I actually went to Jamaica for the first time, because as I was coming up, my mom, when her mother was still alive, she didn't want to have me to be in Jamaica because of the weirdness that was going on with her mom. So she just wanted me to avoid that
Okay.
altogether. So it wasn't until I was an adult, really, a young adult, that I ended up being able to go to Jamaica. But I think probably the best time I had in Jamaica was actually when my father was getting married, right? So being the Jamaican man that he is, he marries a woman who's 10 years younger than me, right? But also has the same first name as me. So now there's another Tasha Danvers.
Wow.
No, you know what? You have to retract that statement. You can't say being the Jamaican man that he is.
Well, you
You have to
know,
be.
Hey,
listen, I
hey.
mean in the sense that our Jamaican men love women, right?
Wow.
They love young women. So I can't be mad at that.
Fuck.
I don't think I've
Yo,
ever
that's
heard
funny.
of that one
It was
before.
Another
so
Tasha Danvers.
Nikki, you know, yeah, but I don't even think they're still together anymore, because he had to pay for her to come to England, and that was like,
Not
how
her.
much? So
Yeah.
they didn't tell him that you needed 70 grand to bring her to England before they got married, and that was it. So, but it was funny because she was all scared, you know, that when she met me, I wouldn't like her, and I don't do this I don't like you stuff, like,
Yeah.
for just because you're dating an older man or you're with my dad, and like life is too short, what are you doing? So you know, I'm with it, you know, if he's happy, if he's in love, whatever, like what business is it of mine? So I couldn't wait to meet her, just for the simple fact that I knew I was going to tease her. So when I got there, when I got there, you know, we're all said, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you. How you doing? Yeah, oh, congratulations, love it." Yeah. So the next morning after I arrived, she's in the kitchen, and I sat down at the breakfast table. Mommy, gonna have some porridge. She was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Yeah,
She couldn't believe I was doing that, because she was
Wow.
so expecting me not to like her, that when I did
Yeah.
that, she just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But I want some plantain, please, mommy.
And that was one of the things I made love about Tasha when I meet her. So when I met you, you had already gotten your bronze medal at the Olympics.
Right, yeah.
And we are gonna go to that, but more and go back.
Back again.
But your personality was what attracted it, even though you were this celebrity who was doing great things, you were so approachable that, because we met on Facebook,
Right.
and start interact from there. I would have up for night after we exchange number, up for night, just have nights, have conversation about
Yep.
everything.
Everything.
We are gonna talk about that still, but how you got into and what age did you get into track and field? And how you got into it?
Oh, you know, it was, you have your school sports days, and we were lucky because for us, it wasn't school sports days in the old-fashioned sense where you grab a spoon and an egg.
And an egg. And Crackers Bag race.
Yeah, like
And
we
Crackers Bag
actually
races.
we actually had our sports day where they now have the London Grand Prix for track and field. You know, in the Diamond League, they have the London Grand Prix. So that's where we used to have our sports day. So we would have real races, like hundreds. So when I'm doing that, the teachers are obviously starting to notice, because I've done other things like trampolining and netball and all that. And the teachers starting to notice, well, that's this one, she's not bad, this one. So they were like, why don't you join a club? Now, you know, my parents would probably have or eventually put me in track and field just because of their background.
What age was this?
This was about 12. 12, I
Okay.
joined my first club. So, and the things my dad used to say, do the hurdles, do the hurdles, do the hurdles. And I'm like, no, Dad, I don't want to do the hurdle. I want to do the 100, you know, the glory of
The glamour, right? Yeah.
But I kept getting dusted off like a certain athlete did this weekend. And I said, okay, maybe I'll give it a try. And I started actually to around age 13, 14, I started to do the pentathlon as well. So that's those, you know, 5 events. When you're younger, instead of doing the heptathlon or the decathlon, they let you do what's called the pentathlon. So 5 events.
Yeah.
And that's where they first really started to see how my hurdling was. And I was so bad. They were like, oh, please. Cause like every time I went over, they were like, oh, like, arms were everywhere.
Dangerous.
Yeah. I was so skinny back then, you know, I think they just thought I was going to break. So they were like, get that girl a coach. So my club, Croydon Harriers at the time, linked me up with the coach out there. And he was a bit mad, like a bit mad. I think he was 2 sandwiches short of a picnic, God bless his soul. But he was like,
it's a British term, that. 2 sandwiches short of a picnic. I like that.
Yeah, you can steal it.
Yeah.
So he's like, you know, if you're gonna be in my group, you've got to just do the hurdles. And I'm like, I was so young and scared. I was just like, okay, whatever you say. And that's actually how I ended up specializing in the hurdles. And to be honest with you, when I look back, I feel like I probably could have been a really, really good heptathlete. I was great at the high jump. My mom was a javelin thrower and a high jumper, so I had picked up her genetics in that part. I was good at the hurdles because of my dad, so I had also natural speed. So those elements are there, and I could also cross into the middle distance. So like up to about 800, I was decent as well. Only thing that was a bit iffy was the shot put.
Okay.
But because he said that, I decided to specialize, and basically the rest is history, because from 15 years onwards, I was only doing hurdles, and I ended up, you know, taking it more seriously and competing for Great Britain around my first competition for Great Britain was about when I was 15, and I can't complain because I got a medal for
yeah. Pick it up. You can pick it up without messing up your setup. So tell me about them. Yeah.
This was the Sydney. Let's see if we can get the light.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So that's Sydney Olympics. This was the participation. So anyone who came, or was it a finalist? I don't know. Anyone who came got to do that. So 2004, then I missed because I had my son. Actually, hold on, let me show you. So I'll show you in a minute. I had my son, and then in 2008.
That look heavy.
Yeah. It's bronze, bro.
That's the bronze, baby. And you know what's crazy about this bronze? And Nikki probably knows, because he knows the ins and outs of the background, my background, because we talk on and off. Yeah. So I had such a terrible season. Like, I mean, every kind of setback. It's the kind of season that makes a person reconsider whether they're in the right career or they made the right choice to continue. And when I got selected for the team, I had been running so badly that the head coach got 42 texts within the first hour of the team list going out to the press asking why I was on the team, specifically me. So so it was not good. And I'll share, let me see if I can share it in the chat. You can post it out there if you want, but this is let me see, can I share it? Okay, I'm gonna share it.
Officially be the cover page for the podcast. Just
right. Whatever I should share, right?
Yeah, like you've changed my mind. Let me see.
Right. But I mean, actually, I'm glad you.
Go on.
I'm glad you mentioned that though, because too many times we feel like we don't understand some of the obstacles that athletes actually face, pun intended, being a hurdler, but that athletes actually face. You are saying that you were selected, and though you felt great to be selected for your team, you had people questioning, your selection, but you had to still fight through that.
Yes,
Still, keep your head straight.
The problem is with sports is there's so many armchair athletes. They know all the answers, they have all the information, they know what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, when you should be doing it, when you shouldn't be doing it. Like they've got it all figured out. So they don't always know the whole story, but yet they input as if they have all the information. So they're out there saying, why is she on the team? Why this, why that? And I get it. From the outside looking in, you have Perry Shakes Drayton, who was doing really well at the time. She was a young up and coming, the kind of athlete that you would put on the team just to give her the experience. But then you also had me, and this is a testament to always being on your game, like never giving up on you, because people are watching, right? Yeah. And this is what I try to impart on my son, is that, carry yourself in a empowered way, carry your shoulders back, do your best in all you're doing, because even if it's not for a thing right now, people are watching you, right? So if my son is on a track team and they always see that he's putting in effort, they always see that he's encouraging other athletes and stuff like that, that's the guy that they're going to call when they have, hey, listen, Nike said they want to give an athlete, $1,000 to come and represent them at this local event, right? They're looking at you because of how you performed over time. They watch that, right? That's basically what happened with me. Because when I got that phone call, I didn't win the national championships. I did not win the Olympic trials, right? The gun goes off. I was feeling like, okay, I got this. What? She ain't got nothing on me now. Like, I was ready. And I got in those blocks, all the confidence in the world. The gun goes off. Hurdle 1, boom, done. Hurdle 2, 3, 4, 5, got it. Now, things started to change a little bit as I got to hurdle 7 and hurdle 8, as you start to come off that turn and you can now see the finish line, right? You can see it. You're like this close to you and your destiny. And as I'm like starting to really, okay, you got to dig deep. You got to get home. You got to win this because your season has been so crap that you have to win in order to guarantee your spot. Why so? The girl, I hear her footsteps getting louder and louder, and she is just like to the point where now she's shoulder and shoulder with me, and I'm like, okay, don't lose your focus. Okay, go gadget legs, let's go. Not a thing. I said, come on, activate gear 7, let's go.
Nothing.
Tumbleweed, cricket. Yeah. Miss say, this girl ran by me like I was standing still. Wow. She wins the race. I was bawling my eyes out, right? And I was a chocolate mess after, because it was the first time in the 8 years that I had gone to my first Olympics, and I was now, had a baby, had all this stuff. And I felt like it was the first time that my destiny was outside of my control. I'd given them the control. But after I picked myself up off the floor, because I don't think you should like not feel what you feel and try and stuff your feelings like they're not there, they're there. So I cried, right. I did the crying. But I think you do in your pain still decide who you want to be in that circumstance. So I did not want to be a person who just gave up just because it was now quote unquote out of my control. So I said, you know what? Okay, I'm upset, but what can I control? I went back to my visualization. I trained like I was still going to be on the team. I did everything I would normally do while I was waiting to find out if I was on the team. I had a song, Linkin Park and Busta Rhymes, and some of the lyrics were like, together we made it. We made it even though we had our backs up against the wall. And I was visualizing myself crossing the finish line at the 2008 Olympic Games, pointing up to my coach and saying we made it. And on that 7th day, they called me. But here's the thing. They told me they picked me because they knew that whenever I was in a crunch, whenever they needed me to perform, whenever we got into a high pressure situation, I always came through. And that's from how I had performed in the past. So, it's a testament to making sure you just stay on your game.
Yeah. And that story they remind me of what just with Hansel Parchment, because Parchment come third in the 100 hurdles, 110 hurdles, and then come at the Olympics, come get gold. So that definitely remind me. You have some people who are just championship athletes. When you put them in them competition, they must step up. So definitely like that. So you came to the US for school or how?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was, oh man, you know, in England, the setup at that time in the 90s, in the late 90s, wasn't really in favor of the athlete. Like, there's
When
no
them boy are born,
yeah, it's not sports colleges where you can balance your education and your studies and all that stuff. So I was trying to study, and then I was trying to go to practice. Cold in England, snow at 7 o'clock at night. It was just long. So when at first, when they asked me, I threw the thing in the trash. You know, I just threw it in a bin. And then my cousin came by and she says, "What's this?" I said, you know, when I was over in Hungary, one of these people from, you know, American University was like, "Oh, do you want to come to our university?" I was like, "Of course not." Right. She's like, "What?" She said, "Are you mad?" She said, "I've been wanting to go to UCLA my whole life. Like, you should do it." I said, I started thinking about it. I was like, you know what? They balance the studies and the education with the sport. That might be my look, because I was not doing good with the studies in the UK, trying to balance it all. So then I took it out the bin, called them up, and ended up accepting, because I think I got offers from like Iowa State, Harvard, and USC. So I did end up accepting a scholarship from University of Southern California.
Yo, she bright, you know.
Hola. Yeah. Like
she said real light. She said
those
real
names
light.
they call like,
but she also,
you don't play them, but like those names you call, I'm like, yo, intellect.
But
I'm
the
hearing.
levels done before that, she say she wasn't doing well in her studies in England.
Yeah.
And you know, for sure, the difference on the different level between
different level of education.
British
Yes.
education. Is it me? I said Jamaican education same way because of the British.
Yeah, much
and
harder. And
if
you know, that's a great point, because in fact, when they recruited me, they told me, stop studying what you're doing in the UK, because the level is higher and you will lose eligibility, because it's going to take away credits from your degree because it's advanced. So it's going to take off a year. So they said, stop everything you're studying and just wait till you come. So
yeah,
makes sense because you say it harder over there. So me I say, but wait, Harvard. When people over here struggle for getting to Harvard.
You see, I went to USC, not Harvard, but it wasn't easy. Like, it still wasn't easy. You know, my first year was rough. Like, I was like barely getting eligible because the homesickness was just, it's a lot. If you've ever like just moved to another country that you've never been to before, don't know anybody, don't have any family, can't get around, it's just, as an 18-year-old, it's very, very painful and very, very hard. So that first year educationally was rough, but I did end being a scholar athlete, which means you have to have like a 3.8 GPA average and, you know, be in studies. So I got that.
As you know me, that's graduate, thank you, laddie. Never, it was not summa cum laude, none of that.
Yes, laddie, we like
thank you, laddie. Thank you, laddie, my graduate.
Yeah, that's big. That's big.
So
how was it? How was it like the first when you just moved to the States? You get me? I said we soon have to go to a break, by the way. But let's move episode. When you first came to the state, I know that, of course, over England, London per se, if it's not raining, it's really cold. You get me? I say depends.
It's not raining, then it's raining.
Yeah, if it's not drizzling, it's raining. If it's not raining, it's storming. If it's not storming, it's hailing.
So
it starts over again.
Get me? When you got Cali now, I know it's Cali sunny. You get me? When you got Cali now, and I say, what? Sun and be things. Day in, day out, majority of the time, it's sunny. What was the difference? Like, how did you feel about that? Like, was it exciting for you, or was it just like, yo, too much sun?
You know, by the time Yeah, by the time I reached the United States, I traveled quite a bit already because at 15 was the first time I competed internationally. So by the time I got to America, I had been seeing other countries and warm and traveling to Europe. Spain is very warm in the summer, so is France. So I had been in these environments where I was used to the warm. I think the thing that took the most adjusting was the culture and the language. Now, you know, even if you go between Jamaica and the UK, like just certain words mean completely different things to in America. And I listen, when I got to before I got to America, they gave me this pamphlet on the school. And in the pamphlet, oh my gosh, like I was getting excited, bruv. Like, listen, yes, this is the life. I'm about to buy bitches. Like,
yeah.
And I opened up this thing and I was like, oh my gosh, look at all these friends. These friends are hanging out on their little beds with their teddy bears. Oh, this is amazing. They get off the plane. Anybody to collect me? No.
Nobody not pick you up.
Nobody not pick me up. I was bawling my eyes out. Like this whole fantasy was like quickly crumbling. 10 hours later, one of the team management comes to pick me up. I'm thinking he's going to help me. You know, back then, we about no wheels on my suitcase. It's just, you know, you had to carry these big, massive suitcases by yourself. I was 18. I'm thinking he's going to guide me to my apartment, show me around, drop me off on the curb. Bye. See you at practice. I mean, so it was a completely different thing. No. I had no sheets, I had no lamp, I had no laptop, I had nothing. So it was a rude awakening.
You never just got signed to a multi-million-dollar contract for the the biggest Premier League teams and
no, but me I tell you, so when them recruit you, them give them pills, them give some pills and you think you're nice.
So and I'm glad she brought, as much as we're laughing about it, I'm glad she brought that point out because this would have been some time ago. Yeah. And Elder, you'd have had more recent experience because of your your program, and it seems to be the same. Yeah. But I appreciate she bringing that forward because that really, like, a lot of our audience is, I say, immigrants and people who follow the transition of leaving your country, and we always talk about this. So this is another experience, totally different country. I don't think we've had anybody from England before.
Oh, this is our first.
Going to the, and then England going to the
first
States.
British link up.
And an actual athlete as well. So unlike majority who are just regular immigrants, but it goes to show that we all encounter these obstacles. But look at her now. Look at what she gone through, and who's to tell if should have did so well had it been differently? Probably not. But the reality is, despite all of that, look at her now. Yes. So we want to empower our people as well that don't get discouraged. Like the whole transition and thing of coming to going into another country, it's very difficult. And whether you go as a regular immigrant or you go as an athlete or a student athlete specifically, or you might have to go up there as a student and then transition, it's still difficult.
Yeah.
Still difficult.
Stick a pin right there. So we have to take a break, pay some bill, and we are going to circle back.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
You get me? I said some people just stay tuned, isn't it? We are touching
right.
Mad.
Yes.